Not everyone drinks heavily, but however you look at it, it's part of modern life. But while we're all familiar with alcohol, what surprises me in my work in addiction is just how little people understand about what really happens to them when they have a glass of wine or beer, and given the dangers of excessive drinking, why alcohol is so appealing.
Tonight I'm going to be working through as many of these as I can and try and demonstrate the specific effects that alcohol can have on all of us.
Because however individual we think we are, the effects of drink are pretty much universal. There's more than one reason why the first drink feels so good. The first thing alcohol does is to increase levels of dopamine, the chief neurotransmitter that makes us feel pleasure. And at the same time, it's working on a second neurotransmitter called GABA, whose normal job is to slow nerve activity down. Alcohol enhances the action of GABA and slows things down even further. But different parts of the brain are affected by different amounts of booze. The first bit to go is the frontal lobe. This is the brain's executive center, and it's where we keep our conscience and our self-control. And when we drink, brain activity in the frontal lobe is reduced almost immediately. And before long, we're losing our inhibitions, and our behavior becomes more impulsive and emotional.
I don't care!
Slowly but surely, we get ever more immature because as we drink, the different parts of the brain are affected in the reverse order to which they developed as we grew up, with the result that a night on the tiles becomes a stagger back to childhood. Scientists have actually shown that when you're drunk, the faces of the opposite sex appear 25% more attractive than when you're sober. Testosterone regulates sex drive and aggression in both men and women. So the first surprise is that despite the changes in men's behavior, alcohol is only having a small effect on their testosterone levels. If anything, they're experiencing a slight drop. After just 2 or 3 drinks, though, female testosterone levels start soaring. And by this time in the evening, they've not just doubled or tripled, they've gone up 4 or 5 times. So not only do the women feel hornier, they're much more likely to let it show. Men always have this much testosterone in their systems, even when they're sober. It's just that they've learned to keep their urges largely under control. But alcohol eats away at that self-control and makes men more impulsive. And by this time, it's also hit the limbic system, where we generate our more primitive emotions. The morning after is when the effect that alcohol has on men's hormones really shows. For men, testosterone levels drop continually throughout a big session.
Oh, you're fucking kidding me.
After 12 hours, they're down by 30%. This happens because alcohol helps the body convert testosterone into estrogen. And long-term, this can have profound effects on the body. It reduces the size of the testicles, the sperm count goes down, and there's another more obvious effect. All men have mammary glands behind their nipples. They're just very small. But after years of heavy drinking and reduced testosterone levels, the glands can expand and enlarge. And though they could not actually give milk, the breast tissue takes on a much more female form. Okay, so it's nearly 1 o'clock. Everyone knows that driving when you're drunk is dangerous. But what about when you're hungover but completely sober? Crowds of people. Oh dear. I'm being tested on a simulator that's set up to assess reaction time, judgment, coordination, and overall how much attention I'm paying to the world around me. What the recent research has shown is that even when the alcohol is out of your system, your brain has not fully recovered. Oh, sorry. I regard myself as quite a good driver, and I must admit, I wouldn't want to be in the cab with me this morning. Reaction time isn't bad, but judgment is very poor. So people act fast, but they do the wrong thing.
God, it's full of people. Break!
The ability to concentrate is also seriously impaired for more than 3 hours after all the alcohol has gone from your system.
I don't like the residential area. It's too moody. There's too many things going on.